Welcome to Spoiler Alert, where we talk about and spoil the shows you're obsessed with. This week, our special guest, Sarah Chalke, is here to talk about her new hit ABC comedy, How to Live with Your Parents for the Rest of Your Life.
Mommy, Max, hope this isn't a bad time for you, because it is for me.
And also reflect on your gripping Grey's Anatomy guest stint.
I know it's crazy. I mean, I can hear myself sounding crazy. But this feeling won't go away.
And tease a possible return to How I Met Your Mother. And also break some big Once Upon a Time scoop.
Don't you see what this means?
Sarah, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Sounds like we have a busy show for you.
We have a lot of things to get through.
Jam-packed.
We have to solve all the problems of the world.
First, we need to talk about the ratings. The show came out of the gate very strong Wednesday night. How does it feel?
Yay. Well, I don't know a lot about it yet because I literally just got an email before walking in here to sit down. So maybe this is like a reverse spoiler alert that's happening. Like maybe you're spoiling this to me right now.
Well, most simply said, it held more of Modern Family's audience and demo than like The Neighbors or Apartment 23.
If I wasn't attached to this couch by a wire, I would get up and do a victory dance.
It's important to open big in this day and age because not a lot of new shows do.
I wish that it does because it's the funnest group of people. Like, we had such a good time. There was times where, like, we would have to either cut or sometimes, like, move on from a take because nobody could stop laughing.
Maybe it's generational, but I am very proud of my orgasm.
Well, you are a role model. You should be on a stamp.
I mean, Claudia Lano, who created the show, she comes from stand-up. She used to do stand-up. Her parents co-owned the Improv. And so she hired a bunch of stand-up comedians in different roles. Like Brad Garrett is a stand-up comedian.
This is why we don't win wars anymore.
Your generation didn't win any wars.
Hey, those bastards had a height cutoff. I was ready to go.
John Doerr, who's a fellow Canadian, who's hysterical, who plays my ex-husband. He's from stand-up. Joe Wengert is from stand-up. So it's like when you get that many stand-up comedians in a room, we're all just like this.
And when Elizabeth Perkins and Brad Garrett were cast, you know, I read that you were just like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. Did they live up to your lofty expectations?
Like, beyond, beyond, beyond. Elizabeth Perkins, I didn't sleep from the second I heard she was maybe going to play the part, or that they'd offered it to her till it was done. I am a huge Weeds fan, and just watching her work, I mean, she does stuff with dialogue and can turn a line like no one else.
Look, just because after your divorce you slept with every guy in your improv class.
And Karen.
And Karen.
Brad is a hoot. I interviewed him on the red carpet last year, and he just riffed for like 5 minutes on the fact that his character has one testicle.
Don't patronize me. Let me miss my ball.
And then he's equally sweet. I mean, Charlie, my son, is in love with Brad. And Brad's like 6'8", and Charlie's like, you know, 1 foot tall. And he will come to visit me on set, and I'll be so excited to see him because I haven't seen him all day. And he'll be like, where's Brad? I have to tell Brad one more thing. And now whenever I say I'm going to work, no matter what job I'm going to, he's like, is Brad going to be there? And Brad sends him this backhoe loader for his birthday. And it comes, and he's so excited. It's from Brad. Oh, real backhoe loader.
Oh.
Yeah, we're doing some construction. No. I mean, you can sit on it. You can ride it. You can drive it. Charlie was like, well, maybe Daddy can put it together when he gets home. I'm like, no, I got this, no problem. And I take out these bags, and I dump all the parts together. And I'm like trying to build it, and I lose most of the parts inside the body of the backhoe loader, which then had to be disassembled. And then we'd order parts online because I lost a lot of them. Stephanie Hunt, who plays my coworker.
I hope that I'm this cute when I'm old. What?
I just saw her in Nancy and Beth. She has a band. That's her and Megan Mullally.
Oh, really?
I love that it's called Nancy and Beth, too. Like, their names are Megan and Stephanie, and the band's called Nancy and Beth. They're so damn good. Like, the most incredible musicians. Stephanie does one song on her own, just on her uke. She'd pull out the ukulele in the hair and makeup trailer in the mornings and just sing these incredible songs, some that she wrote.
Well, Megan has sung on Happy Endings, so maybe the two of them can do a thing on your show.
They have to.
And Spoiler Alert is actually looking for a house band. Do you think they'd come in and perform?
Oh, yeah.
Some tunes for us?
Can I do the triangle?
No.
We're not inheriting the roots?
Okay, maybe. No, we're
That's
not.
all I can do.
Now that we have the obvious storyline of she leaves the kid with the grandparents for a night,
I'm a mermaid.
Okay, we're mermaids now. I can't keep up with the plot.
what other sort of zany antics are coming up?
We did an episode where our family has an Academy Awards party because that's something that Claudia's family does every year. Reed Scott comes to play my boyfriend. He was this guy named Hot Scott in college I had this crush on, and so he stays for a couple of episodes, and I end up coming home and getting undressed and ready for bed. I'm standing there in my control tops and granny panties and this push-up bra, and he walks in, and I'm like, oh, no, that's not happening right now. And then we did an episode where my daughter wants to know why I'm going on a date and Daddy's not dating, and she wants him to be happy too. So I try to set him up on a date with this hot girl that walks into his yogurt shop.
Mommy and Daddy are getting back together, aren't they?
I can't spoil that on a spoiler
I don't know
alert.
if I want them
like-
to. I don't know if I want them to.
I don't know. There's a
He's
connection
not worthy.
there.
You definitely see over the season like why they were together and why it worked and how much love they have for this kid and sort of how much fun they have together. We do an episode where she's like, why aren't Mommy and Daddy together? And she just wants to go to Golden Bear to go camping. And the reason that we figure it out is because she just wants an event where we're all together. And some of my favorite stuff in the show is the flashbacks, which was my favorite stuff to do in Scrubs as well. Like it's the most fun to do. And the flashbacks in this show where Brad and Elizabeth get into their like 60s and 70s. Gosh, it's the best.
Zach Braff, season 2, your love interest.
Yes.
Yes.
We're spoiling it right now.
We're spoiling it now.
Right here.
Great. You're coming off of a really phenomenal episode of Grey's Anatomy. We haven't seen you do a lot of drama, and I definitely want to touch on that. And obviously, Matt, you did this great story that was inspired by real-life events, your own life.
Well, what sort of feedback did you get? I mean, I saw you there on Twitter getting a lot of feedback from people, and within our story itself, all these people who could identify with your story showed up.
I was very slow to the party of Twitter, and I started because of the show. And a really interesting offshoot of that for me was with this experience was getting to hear from parents. And the first experience was after your article and kind of getting this response from people whose kids had it.
If we're right, this could be Kawasaki disease.
And from a lot of parents who were not as lucky as us and didn't have a good outcome. It's been a really emotional few days since the episode aired. I'd never met anyone who'd been through it before I spoke at the fundraiser in November. When I spoke at the fundraiser, I met all these parents who were sharing their stories as well, and parents who told me that their child had died in their arms of a heart attack. We felt really, after that experience, like we need to figure out a way to raise awareness on a big scale immediately. And someone suggested an episode on a medical show, and so I immediately thought of Grey's.
I can't explain it, but I know my kid. This is not a virus. I just feel it.
Yeah, the experience of doing it was, I mean, obviously not as hard as going through it in real life. The first time, that's the hardest thing I've ever been through, but this was definitely the hardest acting job I've ever had.
Parker has Kawasaki disease. You fought for your son. You didn't give up. You saved his life today.
It's one of those things where there is a treatment, but you only have 10 days to get it. So it's a disease that really needs awareness because there's a way to save these kids, but it just needs to be diagnosed.
Also want to touch on How I Met Your Mother. A lot of returning favorites coming on the show. What about Stella?
I mean,
Come on.
I would love it.
Although, granted, her name is Mud with Ted.
I know. I left him at the altar.
But that even makes it more interesting.
I would go back in a heartbeat. I mean, it's the best group. We had so much fun.
When you were on set, did you pick anyone's brain?
Yeah, can you
told
reveal
me-
now? Did they
yeah.
tell you from the get-go,
They told me
you're
who
not
it
going to
was.
be the mother?
Well, they didn't tell me from the get-go, but yes, upon leaving, they told me who the mother is. So.
Did you think that maybe possibly you were the mother?
I would never presume something so special and grand. I'm Canadian. So.
Yeah. Can you help us break some Once Upon a Time news?
I would love nothing more. Devin writes, my drawn-out Once Upon a Time theory is that Neil is also Peter Pan and that Tamara is Tinkerbell or Wendy. Can you help a sister out?
Yeah, Matt, can you?
I can help a sister out.
Help her away.
So how'd you guys meet?
As far as Neil, I just spoke to Eddie Kitsis and Adam Horowitz, the producers of the show, the creators, and they said that they've seen a lot of theories about Neil out there, probably including the Peter Pan one. They say that they have not seen anyone get it right yet.
I'm not from here. I'm from a place called the Enchanted Forest.
As far as Tamara, she said on the show, I'm not a magical being. But then, of course, everyone was saying, well, that doesn't mean she's not a fairy tale character because people like Tiana from Princess and the Frog and Wendy aren't necessarily magical. But Eddie and Adam insist she has absolutely no other alternate identity. She is not another character. She is Tamara, period, end of story. She's from our world, and she's just looking to get the scoop on the magic.
Well, it gives us a lot to think about, Mitovich. A lot to think about.
I hope so. That's my job here.
I'm thinking hard.
While you think, we're going to sign off. And as the credits roll, pretend to be talking about something really juicy.
Last night,
Yeah?
I had sea bass.
Is that a euphemism?
Sea bass?
No, it was just sea bass.
So sea bass isn't code for sex?
No, just sea bass. It was just sea bass.
I'm Haley Steinfeld, and you're watching ENTV. Hi, my name is Kiernan Shipka, and you're watching ENTV.
Aubrey Plaza, ENTV. I just touched it with my mouth, sorry.